With today's technological advances and fast-paced life, BMS is your trusted next-generation IT solutions provider that keeps you ahead of the competition. From humble beginnings, BMS Company is now one of the fastest-growing software engineering service providers, with international presence and golden reputation for excellence. The BMS Company is your one-stop global destination for web development, mobile application development, digital marketing, SEO, Facebook and Google advertising, social media management, business consulting, printing services, and many more. BMS is trusted to provide timely, cost-effective solutions. At BMS, we believe in providing guaranteed results, irrespective of a project's complexity. No stories, no excuses. And core to all of our operation is that we practice what we preach, and we deliver what we promise. We're proud of our dream team of solution-driven enthusiasts comprising of industry experts in various fields, including blockchain, IoT, and AI. Our unique makeup and cooperate synergy enables BMS to add heart to technology while delivering our trademark exceptional results for our esteemed customers. Get free 3 months of hosting and 30 days SEO when you partner with us today. Call us now on 469-992-4567 or visit our website at thebmscompany.com.
You are now listening to the most talked about blog talk radio station in the universe. Walk in His ways, Impact Voice Radio. Be prepared to have your mind stimulated, your spirit elevated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Introducing your host and the mastermind behind this unforgettable experience, Furman Jackson Jr. You will not be disappointed. Let's go!
Hear me well?
Yeah. Welcome everybody to another edition of Walking This Ways Impact Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr. I'm broadcasting you live once again from my home of Arlington, Texas, outside Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas. Big shout out to the whole entire DFW, to the whole entire state of Texas. Big shout out to the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, also my hometown of Mobile, Alabama. Big shout out to all around the world. We want to thank everybody once again for tuning in, being with us tonight on Walking This Way Impact Voice Podcast. I'm very excited with our special guest tonight. Connie Ann. She's going to be talking about the paradigm shift. For those who are not familiar with paradigm shift, it deals with the thinking process, but she's going to go into deep detail with us tonight. If you're about changing your life, if you're about having better relationships, if you're about having a strong work ethic, if you're about dominating, where you're an entrepreneur, where you work for your employer, that is possibilities that we can change our life. And it starts with us and the way we think. But I guess you'll get more into that tonight, so you never know how it's going to go. But we hope what we said tonight will be very helpful to you, something you can go back and listen to as well. Also, before we get started, we got sports news with Kenny, and after the sports news, we got entertainment news with Coach Shay, and then after that, we're going to get off into the Q&A with our guest tonight, Miss Connie Ann. So, Kenny, take it away with the sports news. We know we got the NFL draft coming up. We know we got the NBA playoffs coming up. So much stuff going in the world of sports, and I know we're going to get off into the Will Smith, Chris Rock incident at the Oscars. So, Kenny, take it away with the news with sports.
All right. How everybody doing today? I would like to welcome you to another powerful week here in the Prime Zone. I'm your host, Kenny Primetime Williams. I'm so glad to be with you on this Tuesday evening. Everybody's winding down. Everybody's getting comfortable at home after a long day's work. And what do you know? Let's get some sports news. Let's get some good thinking news. Let's get some great things going on tonight's podcast. I'm so anxious about our special guest on tonight. But before I get started, we have to give and pay bills, man. We give shouts out to everybody that's watching us on tonight. We appreciate you. Big shouts out to Mr. Furman for this entire great podcast. We're gonna get into some sports news. Miss Shay, Coach Shay, how you doing? I see you out there. I love you. We're gonna get into some sports news, and we're gonna start talking about the NFL breaking news. A lot of different free agency talks has been going around. A lot of different trades has been going around. But the biggest one is Deshaun Watson is now officially a Cleveland Brown. For 5 years, $230 million fully guaranteed. He gets a lot of money. He gets every penny, every dollar, not a problem. He still faces NFL discipline due to his case that he got going on. But the Cleveland Browns stand strongly behind him on this case and hoping everything will be resolved, and hoping he probably missed no more than about 4 games. But $230 million is a lot of money, fully guaranteed. You're set for life, young man. Congratulations to him and everything. Also, the Baltimore Ravens have extended a 3-year to their head coach, Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh has been with the Ravens, took them to a Super Bowl, has been great playoff runs, and everything has been going well for the team. So they offered him a 3-year extension, and I'll congratulate him as well. Also, the NFL has approved new overtime rules. That way, both teams in overtime during the playoffs can get a chance to ball. So that gives both teams a chance to win, not just one team scoring and the game is over. So that's a great thing for the NFL. Like, it gives a lot of excitement coming to the game, especially during the playoff time. So we're gonna look forward to seeing that next year in the playoffs. Everything, a lot of people has been moved around. People are still shopping and wanting to see where is Baker Mayfield's going to end now that Deshaun Watson is in the official quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And they are building a nice squad over there with Amari Cooper coming from Dallas and everything, but still no landing spot for Baker Mayfield. A lot of teams don't want to deal with him because of the attitude, the showmanship, but everybody needs to eat and everybody needs to have a job. So I'm wishing well on Baker Mayfield and hoping everything goes well. Moving on, the Saints have signed a 1-year deal to quarterback Andy Dalton. He has signed a 1-year deal worth $6 million to the New Orleans Saints. And look, behind Jameis Winston, he's going to be a great backup and a great mentor as well, along with head coach Sean Payton. And everything is going to work out just fine. So congratulations to Andy Dalton on becoming 1 year with the Saints. Moving on to the March Madness. Now, I know everybody has been glued to the television almost every night concerning the March Madness. Now we're down to the Final Four. So the Final Four for the men's is Villanova will take on Kansas, and the historic North Carolina will take on the Duke Blue Devils. We all know this is Coach K's last run, and he's getting ready to retire after this game. And what a season that they've had this upcoming year, and they are in the Final Four. I'm looking for a great game from both teams. Moving on to the women's side, we have Louisville going to take on South Carolina, and also UConn will be taking on Stanford. These ladies are balling just like the men. And I swear I've watched some of the games, and I'm impressed on how these young ladies are playing ball. And it's very entertaining to watch. It's very hyped to watch, and I enjoy watching. I'm looking forward to the Louisville and South Carolina game. So big up to the ladies, the women's of the NCAA, and also the men's doing the Final Four. And before I leave you, I want to give you a small little quote. Not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to actually clear your path. I'm going to say that again. All storms does not come to disrupt your life. Some storms come to clear your path. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everything you've done. I appreciate everybody listening to the sound of my voice. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. God loves you. Take it away, Mr. Furman.
Appreciate it, Kenny. Thank you with the latest sports news and updates. And to piggyback on what Kenny was saying, so is they gonna turn the overtime like they do college football, Kenny?
Actually, yeah. They're gonna it's like the NFL has been doing. Whoever wins the receive and they score, the game is over. Now it's gonna be different. Is when if they do score, the team gets a chance to score too. If they don't score, then the game is over.
Okay, so awesome. So it's I think that's gonna be very interesting to see.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's okay then. So I guess everybody would like that more when they see that. And I know we got Shay as well. Shay, take it with the latest news in entertainment today.
Thank you so much, and thanks, Kenny, for the shout out. Good to see you. Glad to have back on the podcast this week. Here with the celebrity tea, you guys. If you guys were not watching the Oscars this weekend, we were in for a treat on Sunday. We got to witness one of the most iconic men, a legend, slap Chris Rock publicly after making a joke about Jada Pinkett, a G.I. Jane joke. Also, in later news, RIP to Miss LaShawn Pace. She was a gospel singer, also known for her renowned song, I Know I've Been Changed. So RIP to her. And I just hope that her music continues to live on, and she just continues to rest in peace. Also, in Oscar news, a lot of us didn't get to know because of the debacle with between Chris Rock and Will Smith, but our fellow Samuel received his very first Oscar award, and he received his award from Denzel Washington, which was a very, very iconic moment. I also would love to hear you guys' comments. So if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely comment below. Let us know if you agree with how Will's behavior was at the award ceremony, or if you disagree. I definitely would love to hear you guys' comments. So definitely comment below if you're watching this on YouTube, and follow us and subscribe. That's all I have for Celebrity Tea today.
Coach Shay, man, that was awesome, man. You did an awesome job. Hey, that Oscar with Will Smith and Chris Rock, that was actually something that we will be talking about for a very, very long time.
It definitely was a very historic moment. Chris Rock knew that he was about to go down in history. For me, I think that Chris Rock has probably been slapped by people that wasn't as iconic as Will Smith, so he just took his L and went about his business. I'm pretty sure as a comedian, he's had experience encountering a lot of different people with a lot of different personalities, and I'm just sure that that just wasn't his first encounter with that situation. I'm delighted by how he handled that situation. If Unbothered was a person, we would stamp Chris Rock name on it and put it in the mailbox.
Absolutely. I know there's been a lot of talk, and I know Miss Connie is ready to get into her interview, but there's been a lot of talk concerning that particular event. And I actually saw it. And when I saw it, I'm pretty sure it was mouth dropping for everybody. I actually thought it was fake at first. And I thought it was scripted, but when I was like, oh no, that was for real. That was for real. So I have my mixed reactions about it. I kind of, in some small part, agree with it. Then again, in a more part, I don't.
Right.
At a male standpoint, as far as protecting your woman, your wife, or your significant other, I'm also on the point where it could have been handled a little bit better than it did, not in front of the world to see.
Right, because now Will is in jeopardy of actually getting his Oscar repossessed, you guys. So
absolutely. So that's my only thing about it. I would have took him self-control. Yeah, I would have took him in the back, and I probably would have got street with him, but nobody would have never saw it.
Right.
But what Paul said, when I became a man, I put away childish things, man.
That's right.
Will did not put away childish things when he did that. But it's a way of doing things. You could have pulled a person aside, explain to him, but hey, you got to reap the benefits of it. So
that's right.
It's tough, but learn from your mistakes. I know a lot of women say,
"Oh, this is going to be a very big lesson for him, indeed."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
His most grandest lessons that he's going to learn.
Well, he better get it together. But hey, you learn from it. But hey, that's what pays for it. But I'm very excited about tonight's guest. Of course, we got Miss Connie Ann with us tonight. She's gonna be talking about the Paradigm Shift. This is something we're very excited about here on the podcast. I'm sorry earlier I had difficult testicles on my end. But I'm very excited about tonight's topic of discussion. Talking about the paradigm shift here with Connie to enlighten us, to elaborate us on helping us shift the way we think. I know we have these goals, we have these ambitions to become successful, to become all that we want to be. But it's like we play ourselves, we deceive ourselves, not getting to that point where we want to be in our life. Look at the age, like past, from 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s on, then we live that lifestyle, we live that life of regret and not want to be able to, not to be able to accomplish all that we want to accomplish. So I'm very excited that we have Connie here to explain to us, help us get on that right path of changing our mindset with the paradigm shift. So Connie, introduce yourself to the audience.
Hey, hi, everybody. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Connie Ann. I'm a top consultant and producer. I work with the and through the Proctor Gallagher Institute. I was trained, mentored, and coached by the legendary man, Mr. Bob Proctor himself. So very blessed to have that on my credentials. And I love the material. My life was turned around after I met Bob Proctor, and I started shifting my paradigms and habits and beliefs. I went from broken, homeless, living out of my car, to high 5-figure incomes in a year, just implementing the things that he told me to do. And so I just had to make a life of giving people that opportunity as well. So here I am.
And we're excited to have you. I know you do a lot of teaching. I know you have a lot of class that you online, coaching people to get them to that place where we want to be at. That's what me and Shay was talking about last week with our topic of stuff, being born again. And when I hear about the paradigm shift, it reminds me of being born again. You know, Christ said, be born again. So it takes me to being born again in a spiritual standpoint of restarting our lives all over again, starting fresh, starting anew, relearning new things, being untaught some things in order to become in order to become the people we want to become in our lives. And I really respect that, to be a student of that, to become all that God made us to be.
Absolutely. There's a quote by Steve Bowe. He worked with the Metropolitan Life, and he said that God's gift to us was all the talent and ability that we could possibly ever use. Our gift to God is to use that talent and ability to the best of our ability. And you mentioned living again and starting our lives over again. And for a lot of people, they haven't even really begun. We grew up with just like learning from books, and we put the book down and we move on, and we just make do with kind of 9 to 5, and we rinse and repeat every day. And we're a lot of my clients, when they come to me in the beginning, I say, what does it feel like? They say they feel like they're running in mud, right? So we got to get you out of the mud. We got to get you onto the pavement, or at least the cobblestones, and get you going. And for some people, it really is just living their lives to its fullest for the very first time. And what does that look like? It is definitely a process, but it's a beautiful journey.
And yes, and just listen to your classes, among others who teach on this particular topic, to help men and women to become all that they was created to be. I know a lot of us come from poverty backgrounds, we come from abusive backgrounds, we grew up in a household where we're totally broken, domestic violence from parents, poor financial choices. We just all tore from the floor up. A lot of us weren't fortunate enough to have a pathway to success. A lot of us is coming on that path road to success, fighting the odds, beating these limits, these habits that we picked up in order to become very successful now. And I believe we can have a successful life. I just never want to be that person who just wastes life, regret, not fulfilling life's purpose. God, we all have a life purpose in life. I do believe that. We
are all here for a purpose. And it hurts my heart a little bit when I see on Facebook people posting that I'm not worth anything, or my life is useless, and all of these things. And what reminds me that I am very unique and individual, if any of you guys have a cell phone and you open it up with your index finger, just the power of knowing that you are the only person with that fingertip that can open that phone on the entire planet has got to let you know that you're unique and you are one of a kind, and God didn't make no mistakes. And talking to kind of our journey, like you were talking about from childhood and moving on, we pick up what we know how to do from our parents, and our parents picked it up from their parents. And so if we look back on the lineage for myself, I come from both sides of my parents' family, farmers, and they worked morning, noon, and night, and worked very, very hard for their money. And but what their lifestyle and their way of thinking and living doesn't serve us now. I don't have a field to reap from physically. We have the reap to feel the field to reap from in society and in life in a different way. So we have to learn a new way of being other than what our parents taught us from their parents and those generations. But as children, we absorb, we're little sponges, and we learn how to be from our parents. Something I learned actually about 6 months ago from Mr. Bob Proctor himself is that most people that are on social assistance, most people who are not doing well are third and fourth generation. And we can get over and above that. We can get past that, but we don't know how. And of course we don't know how because our parents didn't teach us how, because they didn't know how. But we can learn, and that's the beautiful thing. If we want to and we're willing to do whatever it takes to get there, we can get there. Every single human being on the planet has the same higher faculties. We all have perception, memory, intuition, imagination, will, all of it. We all have all of it. So when we use it properly, then the world just opens up to us. But we've got to be willing to do the work. And that's where it comes in.
And I totally agree. You said the key thing, willing to do the work. Knowing the difference between want and will. So we know they both start with the devil, but both of them got different meanings. You know, we say a lot of times, I want this, but are we willing to get that?
Yeah.
And we know that comes in putting in work. And that's what I want to elaborate on tonight, the difference between want and will. I know when we want some, we just sit still, oh, I want this. But when it comes to willing to go get it, fear comes in. The fear, oh, I gotta work. I gotta make sacrifices. I gotta do all this in order to get to where I want to be. How can we break that pattern of fear when it comes to being willing?
Oh, fear is large, very large. And you touched on a lot of them. The two big ones, they seem opposite, but when I'm talking to people one-on-one, they're actually one and the same: the fear of failure and the fear of success. They seem and feel like opposites, but they're actually the same when we get down to the real meat of the matter, so to speak. Fear is crippling. How do we get past fear? The opposite of fear is faith. They both demand that we believe in something in the future that we don't know about and that we can't see. So when we look at what we're fearful of, how we get around fear and how I teach my clients to do it is, what are you afraid of? What is that fear? Like that, but we got to sit down and we got to be real with ourselves, not this superficial, I know everybody, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. No, you're not really. How are you doing, right? So let's get down to the how are you really doing with yourself. I am a real advocate of pen and paper, like literally, like pick up one of these and use it and get real. What are you afraid of? And then if we get to the knowledge side of that thing we're worried about, then we can look at, well, what can I do? And, oh, I could do this. Oh, I could talk to, this person owes me money. I'm going to call them and see if they have that money for me. And what can you do? I can do so many different things. Then you move into a place of faith, because now you got your own back and that you're going to do it. And then you asked about, mentioned you want it versus you kind of want it.
Yeah.
Right? The difference between the two is a burning desire. And the burning desire starts with, and the first couple of weeks that anybody should ever go through with any coach, and I'm sorry if I'm stepping on any toes, but you have to have a burning desire goal. that goal, what are you going after, is if you don't know where you're going, like why, like no wonders you don't want to get out of bed in the morning if a person doesn't know where they're going, right? You're sitting in your car in the driveway and you're idling. And that's that part of people running in mud. They don't have a goal. Well, what do you want? I want happiness and I want financial freedom. Well, what is financial freedom to you? Because financial freedom to you and to me are two different numbers, two different things. And so to say I want $1 million a year, that's lovely. Okay, well, but you don't want $1 million in the bank. You want the lifestyle. So what is that lifestyle? And when we have the goal, like I want the house, I want the private jet, I want the car, I want to bring clean drinking water to 5 villages in Africa in my lifetime, or like whatever the person is. And a lot of times, and I love it, so many people want to do things philanthropically, not for themselves. They want to give, but we can't give from an empty cup. But we have to know what that foundation is. And that's what gets us excited. Because now we can see where we're going, right? You're getting on a plane and you're going to the Bahamas, you're excited. You're getting on that plane and you're going. We got to get out of bed with that excitement. But we got to know where we're going. And we know when we're going and we have that burning desire and we just know that that's our life's purpose. Now we're going to do whatever it takes. Now we're going to move heaven and earth. Now we're not just going to read the self-help book and put it down and move on to the next one. We're going to actually stop on each chapter. When it's to sit down and write everything you've ever wanted to do, be, and have in your life, then you're going to do it. Because now you have a there that you're going towards. And it's then, again, the world opens up.
And it's a beautiful thing today to talk about it on a mental standpoint. I know we work out physically and stuff, but we forget about the mental attribute. You know, anybody want to be in that position where if I'm making billions of dollars, I could be able to go anywhere in the world. I don't have to worry about next week when I get paid. I have the money right then and there to go different places. Or if somebody calls up and say, my house is in foreclosure, you got the money, hey, I got the, we always want to do that type of stuff because we want to be in that position to help other people. Not just that, but our own family, our own legacy, and have a very fulfilling life, have a life of fun. Because when you have finances, you feel secure, and you feel secure about your future, present, whatever you want to call it. When you don't have it, we sit, we worry, we stress out, we turn to drugs, we turn to alcohol, we turn to all types of stuff because of that word, fear.
Yeah,
Worry.
for sure. Absolutely. And I've even had people tell me, money doesn't buy happiness, but I can honestly tell you, I've been on both sides of that, and life is way better with a little bit of money in your pocket. So if you want it, and if you know what that looks like, and people don't sometimes even know, they just know they want something different, that there's got to be something better to life than what I got. And so that is the very first thing we got to dive into. What do you want? And to anybody that's listening, and if you're not even in a position to hire a coach, I do free trainings. I'm actually doing a free 12-day masterclass right now. I'm like, it's 10 minutes a day, just little snippets. And if the people do the things that they're reading the book tell them to do, like you mentioned in your podcast last week, you mentioned Think and Grow Rich. That book is the basis of everything that I've ever learned and what I work through in Think and Grow Rich. If you actually read the chapter and then you stop and you do the things that Napoleon Hill suggests you do, you will have a phenomenal life. But people don't do it. In the book, The Secret, I got it right over my head here, open to one of my favorite chapters on being healthy. And it tells you what to do, but people don't do it. You gotta do the work. You've got to.
And I totally agree. All sons are putting in the work, ladies and gentlemen. You got to put in the work. And when you read books like Napoleon Hill from Think and Grow Rich, Bob Proctor, men like that, that's something you just cannot put down on a regular, well, read it one time, that's it, because you constantly gonna get stuff out of their material. You constantly gonna absorb a lot of different methods and teaching they have given us. And it's have become a second nature lifestyle to us, that we can actually walk this thing not on a regular basis. I believe in lifestyle change. I don't want to be that type of cat where I pick it up one time and don't do anything. Because at the end of the day, I'm deceiving myself. Even the Bible tells us that we deceive our own selves. And I just don't want to be like that. I deceive myself far too long in my own life. And time out for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's really, that kind of segs us into paradigms, really, the paradigms of studying, and are you going to be honest with yourself? And so paradigms are our beliefs and habits that are stored in our subconscious mind. 96 to 98% of our habitual behavior all day long is in our subconscious mind, meaning we don't even know we're doing it. We don't even know we're doing the things that we're doing that are stopping us from getting to the lifestyle that we want, that's beyond what we have. And it takes time to really dig into that. And that's where a mentor, an accountability partner, a coach comes in. When you're with a coach that resonates with you and you can have them help you dig into that, you've got to have the help. The self-help book industry, we call it the shelf help, because you read it once and you put it on the shelf. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry because people pick up the book, they wait, maybe they read it twice, they put it down, they sit for a couple of weeks, and they're like, nope, nothing changed, and then they're off to the bookstore to buy another book. And so it's huge. And so one of the paradigms that most people have, and we got it from school. We went to school and they said, read the book, remember what's in the book, let's do an exam. Okay, yeah, you passed the exam, good for you. You remembered what's in the book, you put the book down, you go get another book. You read what's in that book, you do an exam, you'll get X's and O's and red marks and blue marks and stars, and then you move on to the next book. So we've been conditioned to just read a book once and put it down. That should be all that we need, but that's just simply not true. And so we've been taught to learn and to know, but not to do. And we have to read a book and do. And that's where the accountability comes in. We got to have somebody hold our hand. If you're not strong enough every morning to wake up and make a decision every morning, I'm going to do this, this is where I'm going, then you've got to have somebody, whether it's your partner or a family member or a coach, to get you through there. You can't get there, right? Implementation, 100%.
Yeah, that was just Coach Shay just said. Like you just said, exactly what you just said. And it really comes down into the work, putting in the work. And I know you have a background from being homeless to being broke. You have a very interesting story. How did you end up coming into the paradigm shift? I know anybody would say, hey, this is my purpose. Just fully give up, but you did not give up. Explain how that all originated to where you're at today.
Yeah, so I found myself in that situation. And so through a series of events in my life, I ended up in that position. And so things were just spiraling negative, out of control. And I pray that nobody has ever been here. So what I say, I hope nobody resonates with, but I was literally sitting on the floor in my friend's apartment, willing myself to get to the next breath. I was literally just hoping that my chest could take the next breath. I couldn't think beyond that. And when you are in that tight of a spot and in that much pain and anxiety and just, and I'm not saying that I was suicidal. I was never suicidal, but I was just, it hurt so much. And it just felt so like bottom, not even bottom of the barrel, like you're like down on the ground under the barrel, it's empty. You know what I mean? So but just I had some beautiful friends who were just supporting me, and they were feeding me books to read. And as I was reading the books, and actually the first book I read was where is this behind me here, The Power of Now, from Eckhart Tolle. That was my very first book. And I read it and read it and read it, and none of it sunk in, but the more I read it, it started to. In the end, she's like, my friend was like, just watch this movie, The Secret. So I watched The Secret before I ever owned the book. And I started thinking about the things they're saying, and it began to occur to me that, because I started kind of questioning, how did I get here? How did I get so low? Because I was doing good. My life was kind of on a pretty good trajectory. And then all of a sudden, whoa, And so I started looking at that and I began to realize I did this to myself. The partner that I decided to live with, the job I decided to mess up because of other things. And I got myself into this mess. When I was in, about 15 years before that, I was in a place of anxiety attacks. I was having over 10 anxiety attacks a day. And I remember back then that my mind was able to get me out of the house and get me past these anxiety attacks. So when I was in that new position of being low, I thought, well, how can I get myself out of this? What can I do? And so in watching The Secret, I'm like, I'm going to look up all of these people in this movie. I'm going to check them all out. So I went through a journey of just checking them all out. What do they do? What do they teach? And every single one of them, different corners of the world, different faiths, different backgrounds, different cultures, all had the same information. And they all had the same results from doing the same similar things. And I was like, okay, there's something to this. So that's when I began to do. What can I do? Okay, I can start writing down, what do I want? What does the life look like that I really want? Because this life sucks. I don't want this life. What life do I want? So I started writing it, right? Writing what I want and focusing on that. And things slowly, like the air started to clear, right? Like my spiritually, I started to clear. I started to lighten up, and I got myself going again. And Bob Proctor was the one person in there really resonated with me. I don't know if because he's Canadian. I'm from Canada, by the way. Hello. Okay. He's Canadian as well. So I don't know if that was it or if it was just the way he was talking to me or something in his voice. But him and Wayne Dyer just really resonated, and I followed them. And Bob Proctor was doing a paradigm shift seminar one weekend, and I put together the money to do this. It was an online streaming convention, and so I watched it from home, and I did. I began to do, and that's when I went from 0 to the high fives that year by doing the things he told me to do. Because I had a desire to never, ever be in that place ever again. Never, ever, ever. And I went from there. I moved from Alberta here into British Columbia. And I actually, by some weird thing, I had this starving artist mentality as a painter that I would never be able to paint for a living. And somebody actually invited me to join the film industry in the paint department. And it took off from there, just having faith and belief that I'm in control of my life. And if I make the right decisions, everything's going to be all right, because making the wrong decisions wasn't very good. It didn't have a very, very good journey for me. So I just kind of got to a place where I really need to do this for a living. Bob Proctor was willing to teach me, and I was willing to learn, and I knew what it did for me. And so I bring it to the world. I do free workshops, and I do take on clients. I do corporate clients. Anybody that's willing to listen and actually do the work they need to do, my door is always open. You'll see me all over Facebook saying my door is open. DM me, let's talk.
And right? Awesome. And that's a beautiful thing that you're doing, and having the heart to do it and the passion, the drive to do it in order to succeed. And you had mentioned something, taking a responsibility for ourselves. I know I've never been to AA, but I know the AA meeting will teach you, admit that you have a problem. And so implementing that we do have a problem in our own personal life, like where I'm at got me because of my habits, decisions I made, but we never want to take responsibility for our own action. We'll blame Tom, Dick, and Harry, but never take full responsibility for ourselves. And I know now in this time that we're in, that starts to show what most people now are take responsibility for their own actions now and say, you know what, I messed up. Let me pick myself up and get on the right path for life.
100%. Forgiveness, love, and move forward. Tomorrow's in the past, or yesterday's in the past. Tomorrow's what we got to work on, right? And it's all happening in this moment too. So just something really I hear a lot of is people talking about next year, next week, next month. I will do this, I will do that, right? I'll get a new job next year. Everything happens in this moment. So when we are talking about affirmations and goal writing and thinking about what we want, we have to think of it in this present moment, because when it arrives, it's going to be in now. It's going to be in the here. Anything we're writing out, it's now that I have this. This is what I have. This is what's happening now. And it's not lying to ourselves if it's our truth, right? If it's really who we are and what we're going after, we have to think and talk it into existence like we already have it.
And I agree.
And for the person that wants to be have $5,000 a month or 10,000 a month or $1 million a month, we have to begin to walk, talk, and act like that person now to have it. People that have a lot of money were acting like people that have a lot of money before they had the money. They didn't have the money first, right? Just if you think about people that have children, you're not a mom until you become a mom, and then you learn how to be a mom, right? So you become it first, and then you learn how to be it. So we gotta do it, bring it all together at the same time.
Right, and I know through the years, and you probably heard this too. We always say, "I'm looking forward to the future." What really resonated with me, if you feel with the book, "The Alchemist" by Paulo Coelho. In the book, he tells us, "Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about the future. Correct your present. Because once you correct your present, the future take care of itself. Because if we don't correct what's going on right now, we still gonna live out in the future what we doing right now, and nothing hasn't changed." And you mentioned earlier, people always say, "Well, I'm looking forward to next year." Every year we say, "This is my year. This is my season. Do this and do that," but we still repeat the same pattern. Where we at right now, 12 months, 365 days a year, we still ain't got no results.
Mm-hmm.
We still at square one and say, "Oh, maybe it ain't my time. Maybe I'll wait next year." When we still repeat that, after a while, that get very, very sucky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's really like making a decision. And again, this is the only moment you have, right? My mom always said tomorrow never comes, and it doesn't. It's always now. And so and it's a decision that we make. This is our time. This is our moment. Any thought, feeling that you have of something you want to do in your life, it was put in your heart because it's for you to do. It was put in your heart because you are capable of doing it. Whatever anybody wants to do, be, or have, they are right in that moment 100% capable of doing it. You cannot see yourself going there unless you have the desire to be there. You really can't.
And I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Just becoming a brand new individual, taking it to the next level in your life, playing at a high level, being elite. And you don't have to be Tom Brady, you don't have to be LeBron James, but you could be elite. You know, Connie could be elite, Furman can be elite, Kenny, Coach Shay could be elite. No, right now, give to where we are as individuals. Not you don't have to be a household name to be elite, but start where we at right now to be that elite player. So I do believe that we can be the best of the best, where we know for who we are, and don't have to be a big time name to do it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And something too that that I know, one of the laws, the universal laws, is the law of cause and effect. That you get back what you put out, right? You ever heard of careful what you wish for?
Right,
what goes around comes around.
True.
So we can be a giver, and it's not meaning to be a giver of money. We can give smiles. We can, for a lot of us now, we can give hugs again. So right, but give a smile, give a hi, just say hi to total strangers. Anybody ever catches your eye walking down the street, just smile at them, and givers gain. And and we all can give a smile. And we can all give a compliment. We can all do that.
And I'm glad you brought that up too, Connie, as well. So making people feel important. that we come in contact with, correct? I read that before too. That any person we come in contact with, we want to make them feel like they're the most important people. Well,
Hmm.
at that time when we come in contact, like greeting them, how you doing. I know that plays a role in too also with becoming that person you want to be.
Yeah, yeah,
Cause,
absolutely.
'Cause I know a lot of times we think when we doing these self-help, we think about it's about me. But what about our neighbor? Because that plays a role in, okay, like you said, if you see somebody, give them a smile, give them a kind word. That really changes somebody's life. You never know what they may be going through, what
Hmm.
they were thinking about. Somebody could come into suicide, but by your presence, your kind word, change all their situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just, and it just seems so simple, right? But it's so powerful. I spend 2 weeks with my clients working on, we have one of the lessons we do, it's called the impression of increase. And we spend like 2 weeks on how can you increase somebody's life today, right? Like the checkout clerk, ask her how she's doing, talk to her, right? When she says how you doing, don't just say fine, like have a real conversation, right? I always say my day's amazing or my cup is overflowing and spilling all over the table. It ain't half full, man. It's just overflowing. And, right. So like have conversations with people and yeah, just as simple as using somebody's name. It doesn't hurt and it definitely does some good. It definitely does.
Right. And I know when people introduce themselves, they always, you tell a person, hey, my name is Furman. The other person would say, hi, nice to meet you, Furman. So they make you feel important at that time. I notice people used to do that all the time. When you introduce yourself to a person, they repeat your name to them to make you feel like, oh, we make you feel like you've been knowing each other for years. And I
Yeah.
know that plays a role too also.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually kind of fun when you talk to somebody, if you're in the restaurant or wherever you are, and somebody has a name tag on, right? And you go, I actually did this last weekend, and the gentleman behind the counter, I said, "Hey, Kyle, can I get a refill on my soda?" And he like looked at me like, "How do I know you?" Right? He was just shocked I used his name, even though he had a name tag on, right? And it's kind of fun. It's a fun game to play, really, to see how many people you can shock by using their name.
Let me ask you that too. Is it as a purpose behind that when they have their name tag and they got their first name? I know when you do a lot of teaching. What is the meaning behind that?
That name tag? I don't know what the meaning is. I used to think before I became a real positive and just a real like just love for all of humanity person. I used to think because if they did something wrong, you'd know who to complain about. But now I use it as a way to just use their name and to remember them and to allow them to feel better. So it's all about perception. And I think it's just a nice gesture. I'm sure it had a purpose back in the day. That'd be an interesting research to do. But for me, the name's there so that I can use their name so I can help them have a better day.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it really kind of tied in what we were just talking about. When you come in contact with somebody, you make them feel like they are the most important person at that time in your presence. I know I had a couple of questions for you. I know we talked about the paradigm shift, and I know you are a student with the paradigm shift. So enlighten us on what is the example of the paradigm shift. 'Cause that's something that people may never heard. Some may heard it, but never really got into it. But as you hear with tonight on the podcast, enlighten us on what the paradigm shift is, that we can get a clear understanding, because that we know what it is.
Sure. Okay. So paradigm shifts, the first time I ever heard that word was from Bob Proctor. So I'm not I believe he coined the phrase. So paradigms, as I mentioned before, is our collection of habits and beliefs that are stored in our subconscious mind that dictate 96 to 98% of our behavior. So our behaviors are making us towel off the way we towel off when we get out of the shower, putting the cupboards in, or the dishes in the cupboards in the kitchen where your mom put them. Those are all paradigms. Our paradigms are, there's many different kinds. The key ones are cultural. There's cultural paradigms, gender paradigms, women versus men, personal paradigms. So the way we do the things that we do, the things that we believe. for the people that maybe don't believe in the law of attraction and they think it's hogwash, that's their paradigm. That's a belief that they have that it's not possible to drive our results, even though they've never tried it. So beliefs of what we like, what we don't like, our food. Some people like sauerkraut, some people like blood sausage, some people don't. Why? Because it's what our parents gave to us. That's a paradigm. And the big paradigm that I work really strongly with my customers, my clients with, is a money paradigm. Money paradigm, what do you think and feel and act about money? So a paradigm shift, what I went through with Bob Proctor back when I was in that place, and what I work with my clients now, is a process of going step by step through peeling the layers of the onion. So number one, like we talked about, your goal. What do you really want? And make sure that it is what you really want, not something your parents wanted you to do, not something your partner said you'd be good at. What do you want to do for yourself, for your life? Because really and truly, this is my life, your life, right? It's that person's life. And then looking at what are we doing that's sabotaging ourselves? Because we have sabotaging ways, our beliefs and habits that are getting us in that sticky situation, like I did when I was in that place. Okay, I got myself here. How am I going to get myself out? And seeing that, and truly almost every negative situation a person can be in, they had a role in making that situation negative. Whether they were arguing with a person, sometimes it's good to just not have to win an argument, just let the other person win, just to have harmony. Like, is it really worth arguing or losing a friend over or whatever? But what is that? How are we sabotaging ourselves? Are we on our phone playing games when we should be phoning 30 or 40 clients each day instead to get that income we want, to buy that house we want to buy? And we need leadership skills. Well, how do you feel about leadership? How do you feel about people that are rich? My dad used to say when a fancy car went by, like, oh, I wonder who he stole that from, or, right, I wonder who he ripped off. But I had a negative paradigm towards money, because I thought people that had money were deceitful, and they had to steal and be not nice to people for it. So I repelled money because I didn't want to be labeled as that. That was my money fear. You were talking about fear earlier, my fear of having money. The fear of being rich, because people are going to think that about me. So when we change how we look at the situation, then the situation begins to change, and then we begin to have more harmonious relationship with that thing that we've been working against. So using money as an example, beginning to have gratitude for the money we have. When you pay a bill, being grateful to have the money to pay the bill, being thankful that you had the money you had, even if it's only $10 towards your cell phone bill this month. Be grateful you had that $10, and be thankful for the things that money did give you: the roof over your head, the food in your fridge. No matter how much or how little of it, just be grateful to have it. Money will go where it's welcome and stay where it's loved, just like you, right? You're not going to go over to a dinner party at a person's house if you know they don't like you. Like, right. That's who wants to do that? Money lives that way too. So a paradigm shift towards money could be going from people that have money are dishonest to, I am so happy and grateful for money and I welcome it into my life. That's a money paradigm shift. But all of these different layers, there are many layers to the onion, many, many, many layers. But a paradigm shift is literally changing the habit and belief you have that's stopping you from getting the goal that you want to get to.
And my main goal all the time is really about being healthy, because April 23rd, I'll be turning 40 years old. So I'm in the era of 40. So yeah, that paradigm shift of changing your beliefs. Okay, I want to be healthy. I can't talk about, I want to be healthy. I have to put in the work to be healthy. I have to change the stuff that I eat. I have to exercise, drink plenty of water to see the results that I want to see. And then just throwing out there as an example, like little things. If you want to be a certain way, start dressing a certain way. Is that part of it? If you just go into the grocery store, fix yourself up. I mean, just become that person you want to become. I can't just go to the grocery store, be all bummed out and stuff. Get yourself fixed up, dress yourself, just whatever you go. I believe in that perception of who you really are, because eventually you're going to attract the right person. If you want to say that, but become that person you want to be.
Yeah, you have to, and so that plays into the law of attraction, right? What you're thinking about all day long, and that energy, the projection you're putting out there. It's nice to have people look at you and wonder who you are. Like, should I go ask them for their autograph instead of them looking at you and going, "You really left the house looking like that?" Like,
right.
What do you want people to think about you when you go out? And it feels nice to dress up. It feels good. You walk taller, and that's self-image. That's self-confidence. When you have the confidence that you can go out there, and I have a grocery store 2 blocks from my home. I can walk down there, and I do my hair, and I don't put on a ball cap and sweats and my old running shoes. I'll put on like my boots and my jeans, and throw on a nice jacket just to go and get some milk, because I just want to feel good about myself.
That's
and
right.
it's a feeling. And even here at home, right, you hear the business mullet, right? Business on the top, party on the bottom, because you can't see what I'm wearing. I'm always wearing slacks or a skirt, even though people can only see the top half of me when I'm working
Right.
from home. It's about me and how I feel about myself and what I think that I deserve. And I deserve to be dressed up. I deserve
Right.
to have nice things.
And that's important. And like the little simple things. Keep your car clean. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a certain individual, you're gonna keep your car clean, you're gonna keep it smelling good. Your house, you're gonna keep your house clean, you're gonna keep it organized, your hygiene, you're gonna stay up. These are little simple things that we don't really think about, kind of that really plays in becoming that new person that we want to be. That whole paradigm shift, like, okay, I used to be like that, now I'm shifting over here because this is where I want to be. And I like the new me, and the new me feels real good. The new me feels unstoppable. You're not being a slave to other people's opinion. You're becoming that person that you always wanted to be, and it shows, and that's what I love about it. But it's always room for improvement. Even the greats tell you that there's always room for improvement. So the marathon don't stop.
There always is. And I work with people that are working from home and just starting out, and I work with people that are multimillionaires. They all want something different, and they all have their things they're going after that they need to work out. And we can always do better, no matter where we are. And the thing about being human is we do want to do better. Michael Jordan was still going to basketball practice. He was still showing up every day. Tiger Woods was tailstaking golf lessons when he was at the top of his game. And we always want to reach more, reach further. Always, always, always. We always want to expand. And that's just human nature. The trees outside my office window here, they're growing and leafing out and getting taller, or they're in a state of decay. There's no in between. There's no sitting being comfortable. That doesn't happen.
And it's taking it to that next level. And I love, and as of late, I read up about Michael Jordan. I listen to the stuff he said, even though he was in part of my generation growing watching him play, but his mindset, his level of thinking, how he wanted to be the best at winning. I look at Tom Brady. He's playing at a high level in his mid-40s. Anybody else would say, when I hit 40, I'm retiring. But this man is constantly playing at a high level. His mindset. And it's all mental. We think it's all physical, but these guys are working from a mental, subconscious standpoint. And that's been the same thing going on for years. I'm gonna ask you, why did it take us so long to realize that everything is so mental, and we just thought we're just physical, or we think it's about our education or who we know, but no, think about the mental.
That's a really good question. I feel like just when Bob Proctor started out, he started out working with Earl Nightingale, who was mentored by Napoleon Hill himself, and Bob Proctor went through a lot of criticism, and His book, You Were Born Rich, the one you and I were talking about earlier today, he went to many publishers, and they like laughed him out of the publishing house. They're like, no way, no way. He went through adversity because people just thought he was off his rocker. But we're coming to a place now where it's like, wow, right? I mean, if I stop thinking about the lack and the things I don't want and start thinking about the things I do want, all of a sudden they're showing up. And you know, and you start hearing from other people that it's happening. You think, wow, there's something more to it. And I pray, I feel, and I pray that we are getting to a place where humanity is going to start waking up.
Yeah.
Wake up and start thinking, really thinking. A lot of people, if you listen to what they say, it's pretty obvious they're not thinking, or they wouldn't be saying the things they're saying. So we just need to really be, thinking, change that mindset. And the word mindset is kind of becoming a little catchy, but when we understand that we can alter our minds by just thinking clearly before we act and do things, and think, you know, do I really want to talk about the bad things that are happening in the news? Because that's not serving any purpose. Why don't I go out and see if I can smile at 10 people instead of watching the evening news tonight? Or, right? Like, how can I increase humanity? How can I share some goodness in the world and really start thinking about what we're creating and what we're putting out? And there's really a shift in people really understanding that, you know what, I don't have to watch the news. I don't have to be grumpy. I don't have to be argumentative. I can be abundant. And when we talk about Michael Jordan and Tom Brady and all of those guys, they're what we call unconscious competence. They're doing the things that some of us have to learn how to do the things that they do. They don't even know they're using those higher faculties. They just are. It's just something they were given at birth. I have a sister that's got letters off the end of her business card. She's got so many degrees, and I don't think she studied a day in her life. I just barely got out of high school with my credits. And so some people are just that way. For the rest of us, though, we can learn. We can learn if we want to learn, and we can all think better, more clearly, and have that positive mindset, for sure.
Most definitely. And I noticed that they are, I don't want to say they're giving away their secrets, but they giving away stuff that's been there the whole time. You mentioned the early county work. They actually sharing their personal information with the world. Like, I got the book TB12 by Tom Brady. He shares his workout pattern. He shares his eating habit. He shares his work ethic. But like you said earlier, Connie, and what Bob probably talked about, you still have to put it in work.
Mm-hmm.
Great information before us, and I ain't gonna lie, and information today is free. You go on YouTube. I know you give a lot of free information as well. It's out there, but we're just not doing the work. We just wishing on a star. Hope one day that'll happen, but we're not living for the now. Well, I just put it off next week. And at the end of the day, we just deceive ourselves and playing ourselves at the end of the day. So I can't get mad at you because you excelling in the thing that you're applying in your own life. You gave me the same, we both have the same opportunities. One is willing to take the opportunity. The other one just takes the opportunity lightly and get mad because the other person excel with the information.
Yeah, absolutely. We live in North America. We live in first world countries. We live in the kind of the powerhouse, so to speak, and there's no need for us to be without. I mean, if we can't make it here, where are we gonna make it? You know, and it really is. It's in how we think, and how we feel, and how we act, and it has to start with our thinking. We have to start with our thinking. What do I want? And then get up and go do that thing. You can read the books, but you got to go do it. right? If a person wants to be in shape, well, they got to get into action. And the first thing they got to do is they got to go to their cupboards and their fridge and throw out anything that has ingredients in it that they can't pronounce. I did that. So I 3 years ago now lost 64 pounds myself. So
Okay.
been there, done that. I've been through a lot, and it all comes down to my mind. If there's a condition in my life I don't like, I got to look at how am I going to get myself out of this, because nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going
nice.
to fill your bank account up for you. You got to do it yourself, but you got to do the work. If you're
And
going
I
to read
agree.
the book, do the work the book says to do.
And I totally agree. And I'm a student of highlighting. I'm a student of writing things down, and I'm also going back over what I highlighted. I meditate on it so I get it into my subconscious mind. I can start acting on what I meditate on to see the results. As we want to talk about tonight. Seeing the results. I'm not talking about the instant gratification, but it takes in work. Like you said, nobody's not gonna do the work for you. Nobody, and I say this all the time, Connie. Nobody's not gonna knock on Furman's front door and say, "Hey, I'm here to take your life together." Either life gonna go with or without me. Time does the same thing, so I can't get mad at nobody but self. And that's the whole entire message tonight. And I know you do a lot of great words, and I know we put on pressing for time. So how can people get in contact with you, Connie? How can they get in contact with your workshops, where they want to come a client, set up a meeting? The floor is yours.
Well, I'm all over Facebook under Connie Ann. If you can find me, I know there's over 1 billion people on Facebook. So if they reach out to Furman, Furman and I are friends on Facebook. So we can do it that way. I can make it really simple for you guys. I have an email address. It's connieann@connieann.com. You can email that. You don't even need a pen for that one. Just make sure there's an E on the end of Ann and you got it made. So emailing me is the best way. If you can't find me on Facebook, at Connie Ann in Facebook. Connie Ann page in Facebook is my business page. So that is another easy way to find me. And just reach out, DM me, email me. I have assistants, but I manage my own messaging. I do my own stuff. If you're talking to anybody on Facebook and you're not sure it's me, it is me. I am sitting here where I'm sitting right now, 12 hours a day. And I am out there talking to all of you guys because I truly do want to help, and I'm willing to put in the work for those who really truly want to make a change in their life. So reach out, don't be shy. I am not a pushy salesperson. I'll get on a call with a person for a half an hour just to tell them what they need to know, and we'll move on, or wherever it goes. I just want to help. We just all need to just move forward in a much more beautiful way.
Awesome. Like I said, I'm glad you took time out with us, Connie Ann, to be with us tonight, elaborate, talk, and it was a great show tonight. Some great information that people can go. This will be up on our YouTube channel that people can go back, check it out. And also, I will send you a copy of tonight's episode as well, too, also, Connie. And we appreciate everybody. Thank Kenny, Coach Shay. Also, big shouts out to Anna C. I know she had to do a financial workshop tonight, so she won't be able to with a big shouts out to her as well. So we want to thank everybody once again. Connie, Kenny Primetime, we thank everybody once again. Man, and most important thing, stay consistent in what you do. The marathon still continues. So the night's replay will be up. Go back, check it out. Pretty much that's really it. We're closing out for the month of May. We're about to be ready to go into the 4th month of the year, which is April. I hope you still on your grind, playing at an elite level. We know football season be coming up before we know it. See what the Dallas Cowboys gonna do, Kenny.
I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed for the time being.
Oh, the draft coming up too, so we should be seeing who's gonna get in the draft. But
I won't say nothing after the draft.
Well, I look forward to when you bring the report on that, Kenny, with the NFL draft and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
See what we're gonna get. But we want everybody, man, have a great night. Play at an elite level. And I did get the book, Connie, by Bob Proctor, The Art of Living. I had bought that today from Barnes & Noble. That's when I sent you the picture of it. So I'm going to read that, check it out, highlight some stuff Because right now I'm just a student in the game. Right now I'm constantly working on getting better as a man each and every day in my own personal life. So let the games begin. We want everybody to have we want everybody to have a great night. We're gonna see y'all next Tuesday here at same bat time, same bat channel on Walking This Way Impact Force Podcast. Signing off. Have a great night. Stay elite. Play at a high level. Change the way you think. Shift your paradigm shift, and let the change come in your life. And we want to hear more about it. See you next time, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Bye for now.